I'm your huckleberry.
Why, Johnny Ringo. You look like somebody just walked over your grave.
Westerns are great because they're all about guys who just do things. A guy strolls into a town overrun by brigands and ne'er-do-wells where the rule of law has been all but abandoned. The guy puts one of them in their place and the frightened townspeople all go, "You can't do that, mister! That's one of Evil Jack's men! You can't just do things!" But then our hero just does it anyway. He just does things.
Your friends might get me in a rush, but not before I make your head into a canoe. You understand me?
He's bluffing. Let's rush him. No. He ain't bluffing.
To just do things is a bit different than to strictly uphold the law. Oftentimes, the Western hero must work outside the law. Oftentimes, he arrives in town to find the law just isn't good enough, that the sheriff is weak and ineffectual, and that his badge is mostly just for show. Sure, our hero might take up the badge himself, but almost always reluctantly. He doesn't want the smoke. He's already done his time. He knows all too well the limits of the law.
For the first time in our lives, we got a chance to stop wandering and finally be a family. Now, this is trouble we don't need.
We know what we're doing, Wyatt.
Even still, he knows somebody has to do something. A lot of people pretend not to like it when somebody just does something. They appeal to process, they appeal to bureaucracy, to our sacred norms. They appeal to the slippery slope. And they do have a point. The bad guys too, the ones terrorizing the town, they're also operating on the idea that you can just do things. The truth is, though, everybody loves somebody who just does something. It's just a matter of who's doing the thing and why. Our introduction to Wyatt Earp shows him stopping a horse from being whipped, and I wonder if this was meant as an allusion to a similar scene in Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, or to a real-life occasion alleged to have happened with Friedrich Nietzsche. While Wyatt Earp bears little resemblance to the murderous, neurotic Raskolnikov, both Dostoevsky and Nietzsche were guys who wrote all about the moral imperative, dealing with questions like, by what right does the individual take action? By what moral compass? Is it God who determines morality? Is it public consensus? Is it the whims of time and place? In Tombstone, you might infer a certain religious allegory with the Wild West as a moral no man's land, as a chaotic nihilism into which our heroes arrive as a kind of biblical admonishment.
Looks like we win.
El temor de Dios es lo que ustedes no tienen. Tú eres el hijo de Satanás.
Wyatt Earp arrives as the Old Testament, embodying order, wrath, and judgment.
All right, Clanton. You called down the thunder, well, now you got it.
While Doc Holliday arrives as the New, embodying change, redemption, and forgiveness.
Live every second. Live right up the hill. Live Wyatt.
One of the great things about Tombstone isn't just that everybody is cool and badass or that it has one of the greatest casts ever assembled on film. Cinema died with Bill Paxton, by the way. It isn't just that it's about cool badasses just doing things. Tombstone is great because it paints such a rich portrait of who is doing the thing and why.
Doc, sorry to be in bed. What the hell are you doing this for anyway?
Wyatt Earp is my friend.
Hell, I got lots of friends.
I don't.
While many westerns revolve around a robust masculine camaraderie, Tombstone is one of the few that's about honest-to-God friendship. Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday are two sides of the same coin. They're the yin and yang of the western heroic archetype. Wyatt Earp, he's a rock. He's got a strong sense of responsibility. At the same time, he's something of a free spirit. There's something in him that's wild and unpredictable.
You tell him I'm coming! And hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
I think this is one of Kurt Russell's best performances in that he's almost playing against type. He's believably complex as a guy who, in general, stands for law and order, who can steel himself against the allure of a beautiful woman, but he's also a guy who will go batshit crazy for revenge if you murder his brother.
No!
Son of a bitch! No!
The takeaway here is that for the Western hero to just do things, and to do them rightly and justly, he must be more than the cold and practical letter of the law. He must be human and alive. He must be flesh and blood. Wyatt Earp's romance with Josephine really spells out all this inner conflict for the viewer, and I like the way their relationship plays out in Tombstone a lot more than I do in the film Wyatt Earp, starring Kevin Costner, which came out only a year later and paints Earp as more of an unrepentant piece of shit. Wyatt Earp isn't a bad movie by any means, but it's hard not to view it outside of the shadow of Tombstone, which does so many things so much better. But now we arrive at everyone's favorite, Doc Holliday. Outwardly, Doc Holliday is everything Wyatt Earp isn't. He's a snake, a crook, a hedonist. He's a man knocking on death's door, and it seems to have only exacerbated his worst vices. Doc Holliday is a shit stirrer. He's always trying to force the issue. It's him winking that kicks off the shootout at the OK Corral. On the one hand, you might chalk that up to the same aforementioned vices, but on the other hand, as a wicked man himself, it's maybe that he knows all too well where the whole thing is going to end up, whether he winks at a guy or not. Maybe Doc Holliday knows that sometimes it's better to force the issue than to let it fester like an illness. If dying has thrown Doc Holliday deeper into his vices, it also seems to set him on the path toward redemption. By the end, Doc Holliday acts as a kind of sin-eater, the necessary evil, the necessity of just doing things, so that the rest of the world might carry on in peace and prosperity. Doc Holliday has to die so that Wyatt Earp can live. Most importantly, though, is that Val Kilmer plays Doc Holliday like a cool, badass anime character with cool, memorable one-liners.
You're so drunk you can't hit nothing. You're probably seeing double.
I have 2 guns, 1 for each of you.
In his final confrontation with Johnny Ringo, he might as well have unsheathed his katana and sliced him in half.
You're no Daisy. You're no Daisy at all.
Huckleberry indeed. Okay, that's about all I have to say about Tombstone. Let me know what you think. Subscribe if so inclined. I write books if you like books. Okay, goodbye! Oh boy, the kids are gonna flip when they see this. Incredible expanding alligator. Just soak it in water, it says. Okay. Rah, 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 rah. Rah, 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 rah. Rah, 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 rah. Rah, 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 rah.
What is this? Is this a book? Nobody reads books anymore.